Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome. Good morning. Today is Tuesday, January 8th, 2019. And this is my first cup of coffee. I'm just going to sing the whole episode. No, not really. I need to shave. Can you see that? That's what I'm doing, like, right after this. I'm shaving, cutting my hair, because there's a little, and there's more than I want. Oh, man. Great Taekwondo class last night. We were jumping over chairs and throwing people around. And I led the warm up. And what else did we do? We did some basics, some combinations. I love doing combinations. Not like one and two techniques, but like 5, 6 techniques. When you have to think. When the difference between the fastest person in the room and the slowest person in the room isn't so much the speed of their technique, but the speed of their mind. I'm usually the fastest either way. It was a very squeaky vehicle. Oh, they're plowing snow again because it's January in Vermont and it snows 25 hours a day. It's great. Love it. Um, yeah, I'm in a mood. I'm in a weird mood. That's okay. I slept well. I think. I had probably the most productive Monday I've had in a very long time yesterday. It was great. I got a ton of stuff done. So much stuff, in fact, that I started to work on some of these projects that I just keep pushing back. I keep everything in my calendar, my Google Calendar, and I arrange my day based around what's got to happen, what's the most important, what's happening at a fixed time, like a meeting or a phone call. And then I fill in with what's most important, which means that there are some projects, like this one product I'm trying to develop, that's been pushed back and pushed back and pushed back for literally months. And I got work on it yesterday. And I was still done with my day a little early. It was great. Loved it. And it feels so satisfying to do that. And if you've been watching for a while, you know I've been struggling with Mondays. Well, literally just struggling with Mondays. Yesterday's episode was of Martial Arts Radio, of the podcast, was with Sifu Glenn Doyle, who is a really interesting guy, a really interesting episode in that he is a Kung Fu practitioner, as well as a practitioner and instructor of a family line of Irish martial arts, which is stick-based. Really cool stuff, something I knew nothing about, so I got to learn about it. You should check that out. Next Monday will probably be our biggest episode ever. It's already happened. It's recorded. I checked the recording. It worked. It won't be everyone's cup of tea, but this guest is the most famousest guest we've had. It's not Chuck Norris. If we get Chuck Norris, I'll probably just tell you I interviewed Chuck Norris and probably release it 30 seconds later because it's Chuck Norris. But this was not Chuck Norris. Oh, what else? What else can I tell you? So why was yesterday so productive? I've been asking myself that question. I think quite often when I have days where I'm not feeling it, where I'm not being productive, I end up in this self-fulfilling prophecy that it's not going to be a good day. I start to get anxious, which limits my productivity, which makes me more anxious, and it goes back and forth. But yesterday I just went, okay, so I'm a little anxious. And I just worked through it. Not in an aggressive way, but just in an acknowledge. Sorry. That sneeze was a little wet. I sneezed on my hand. I'm wiping it off. We're good. Okay. So I just kind of, leaned into it and had the best day that I could. And after an hour or so, I just stopped noticing. Of course, I used Brain FM, which I've talked about on the show. Brain.fm. It's great. The focus part of it is awesome. You should check that out. No, I don't get a kickback. What else? What else? What else happened on the day? Made some good food. I don't know. So today, got some meetings, got an interview. I'm debating on whether to go to the gym. I'm feeling sore. And my wrist thing says that I should not work out. But I want to. I don't know. We'll see how the day goes. See how I feel. Let's talk about class last night. This was Taekwondo class. So it's an interesting group because most of the black belts that we have are pretty young black belts. They're all either recommended or first degree black belts, which means that they've been training, most of them 4 to 5 years, which is a fair amount of time to do anything. But comparatively for my time in, the instructor's time in, that's not a lot. So he was dealing. I helped with the kids' class. There were like 6 or 8 new students out of, I think, 15 kids. It was a crazy ratio. So he took all the new students, which he usually does, and gave me the more advanced ranks. And we worked on kicks, and actually we made some progress with some of these young kids. If you've never tried to teach a small child the difference between a side kick and a round kick, roundhouse kick, turning kick, whatever you may call it in your school, that can be a struggle. So instead of, I just had them stand in a side stance or a fighting stance and not worry about moving their feet. I find that to be helpful. Fewer moving parts for children works better. But anyway, he was dealing with parents and kids and uniforms and things in between the classes. So I ended up, after about 5 or 10 minutes, I said, "Hey, you want me to start class, warm them up?" And he said, "Yeah, sure." So we did a bunch of stuff. Did a bunch of mobility and some stretching, and started with some conditioning, and had a little bit of a chat with them about joints and how joints work and why manipulation of joints is important. Why circling my wrists like that as part of my warm-up makes sense. And for those of you that don't know, that's how you get fluid into your joints, is movement. And unless you're moving your joints, you're not getting fluid, thus you're not getting nutrition, thus you're not healing, you're not removing waste, etc. So joint mobility is critical, so do it. And then we went on and we just had a good, hard class. It was a nice class. I had a lot of fun. I love my instructor, I love the class, but this was one of the better classes. And yeah, it's great. And then we were doing some jumping side kicks over things, and he asked me to. Actually, I said, "Hey, let me grab the flyers." And we made some space, and we started jumping over a chair, and then we expanded that into a chair and a shield, and then 2 chairs, and you know what? I was one of the ones that had the hardest time. I was still getting over it, but I haven't jumped over 2 chairs in a while. So I got practiced that. So there's a good point to end on. things that you don't practice, you tend to regress at. I haven't practiced jumping over things in a while. It wasn't the physical ability to do it, it was the comfort in doing it. It was getting my steps right. It was awkward. I felt weird. Made me want to come home and practice running and jumping over things. But that's okay. So don't forget that there are things that you can do now that if they're important to you, you better keep practicing them, at least a little bit. And the more you learn in martial arts, the more there is to practice, which makes it harder to stay good at all of it. It's a shame. It's a bummer. I want to be able to just get good at something and put it in my pocket. Doesn't work that way. So take a look at what you've got going on and identify something that maybe you're regressing at in martial arts or in life that is important to you, that you don't want to regress at. And start working on it. A couple minutes a day. Doesn't have to be much. If you haven't been to whistlekick.com lately, you should go. New stuff. All right. You take care. I will see you back here.